Hey everybody, Julie here from Mostly Caffeinated. I have something I've never done before, but it just struck me to do this today because I was looking at my disaster of a desk and talking to my friend, the librarian at my public library, and I realized that I like watching booktube, if you will, YouTube videos about books and people with home libraries and stuff like that. I have quite a home library, but I'm also quite the user of the public library. And I don't know if this is interesting to anybody, but I would be interested in this if I had a YouTuber that I enjoyed watching and they told me that they had a pile of library books on their desk. I would want to know what they had. So, if you're interested in the library books that are currently in my house on my desk waiting for me to read them, here they are. A couple of these I picked up today, and a couple of these have been loitering and lingering on my desk for quite some time. But I'm going to tell you what they are, if I'm reading them or if I haven't started yet, or what the deal is, and yeah, that kind of thing. Now, don't be confused. This is not the same thing as my TBR, to be read list. I have probably 100 books that I intend to read, most of which are probably sitting on my bookshelves in my living room. This is just what I have checked out from the library right now. Okay, they are on my desk in order of size, not in order of how long they've been here or anything. The first one I just picked up this today. It's called Having a Martha. I don't know how much of that got kept. But anyway, this book called Having a Martha House in Having a Martha Home in a Merry World by Sarah May. I feel like I should know Sarah May because in her little author description on the back, it says she is an influential blogger, founder of the popular Allume conference, and author of Longing for Paris and Desperate. It sounds like she's like a homemaking blogger. I've never heard of her. Oops. But this book caught my eye because I'm doing an online Bible study with Holy Hen House for Lent, and last week's reading was about Mary and Martha. Mary pouring perfume on Jesus. Anyway, and we were kind of discussing, us ladies, about whether we feel like we're more of a Mary or more of a Martha. And I've always kind of felt like I was more of a Mary, but I want to be more of a Martha. In case you're not familiar, Martha is very into like housekeeping, cooking, cleaning, getting stuff done, very practical. And Mary sits with Jesus and listens. She's into learning. She's into using her mind rather than overly worrying about physical things. I want my home to be neater and tidier and better run, but that's just not my brain. That's not how I'm wired. So this seemed kind of like the perfect thing. I haven't read this, I just picked it up today, but I'm glancing through it, and it's got kind of like a daily thing to do, sort of reflections on it. There's little sort of devotional pieces to each day as well. So I'm curious about 31 days to a clean house and a satisfied soul. I'm going to give that a try. Maybe over spring break I will start. Hey, the next one I also picked up today, but I've been wanting to pick this up for a couple of weeks. I saw it at the library a few weeks ago. I didn't have my card with me, so I went on my ebook app to check it out there, and there's like a, 6-month wait to check it out. A bunch of them are on hold. So it was physically in my library. It was part of a Women's History Month display. And I picked it up today because it's still sitting there and I still want to read it. It's Ruth Bader Ginsburg's autobiography. And now, I don't get political at all on the internet. I try very hard not to. So please do not take this as any kind of political statement one way or the other. I just find this woman to be fascinating and I want to read about her. That's all it is. It is not a political statement in the least. I just think she's fascinating. And fascinating ladies, regardless of their political leanings, are something that intrigues me, that I enjoy reading about. So, picked that one up. That's my nonfiction. I usually read like a self-help, a nonfiction, and a fiction all at one time. So there's my self-help and my nonfiction. Now, the fiction I picked up a few weeks ago. And I read like a chapter. Yeah, you can see my bookmark there. That's all the further I got, because I've been sitting in the 5th book of the Outlander series for a really long time. I've read the whole series multiple times, but I buy them kind of as each season comes out, if that makes sense. So the 4th season of the TV show just got done. And so I bought the 5th book and was reading the 5th book. And even though I've read it like 3 times, I couldn't seem to put it down to start another fiction. But I finished it. So I can get back to this book, which is The Dante Club by Matthew Pearl. It's genred as a mystery, which I guess it kind of is. But I picked it up because it's fiction about canonized authors. I don't know if that's a genre. But if that's a genre, it's my favorite genre. I like to read fiction inspired by classics. Like Lady Macbeth is a piece of fiction inspired by Macbeth's wife in the canonized play by Shakespeare. That kind of thing. I don't know why, it just intrigues me. And so this is kind of a mystery set at the time of like Holmes, that big group of authors living in Civil War America. So anyway, if I like this, Matthew Pearl has done at least one other book that is similar, like a different time period, but still about authors, I believe I saw in the library. So I'm hoping that this is great and that I can just become like a Matthew Pearl fan now. The little bit that I read was fine. I just haven't gotten very far because Outlander. But there it is. And the last one I picked up is a book that I've checked out numerous times before. It's my trusty Patterns for Theatrical Costumes by Catherine Holgebor. I don't know. I've checked this out 3 or 4 times. This is my go-to for costume design. It's organized by time period and has sketches and obviously shrunken down, but patterns for different costumes from different historical time periods. It's got things like motifs and patterns and embroidery work that you could do. And then at the back, it's got even some specialty pieces like creating hats and crowns, creating animal masks, that kind of thing. I have just gotten so much use out of this book. I don't own it. It's like a $30 book. That's why I've never bothered to buy one for myself. I just keep checking it out from the library every time that I do a school musical. And this year we are doing a play inspired by Alice in Wonderland. So I need animal costumes, and I don't want my kids to look like giant teddy bears. That's not quite the direction I'm going. So I need this. I also need to make some crowns and things. So I'm going to use the back end of this book for crowns and animal pieces. I've used it before to create kind of togas. I did A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I took it in like a, I don't know, kind of Grecian toga theme. So I used it for that. I've used it for when I did Fiddler on the Roof to try to get vaguely correct costuming for that. Yeah, it's a great book. I suggest it. So those are the 4 things that I'm reading right now. The 4 things that I've got checked out from my library right now. There they are. Screenshot. In case you ever wanted to know. And if you'd like me to do this in the future, whenever I get around to finishing and returning these books and checking out new ones, let me know, and I can do that. I can also do it for kids' books. I have a whole shelf of kids' books that are always checked out from my local library that my kids pick out. So if you want to know about any of those, let me know. But yeah, that's what I've got for you today. Happy reading, I guess. Let me know if you're reading something particularly interesting that you'd suggest, or if you've read any of these, especially this one. I'm excited about this one. Let me know. I'll see you guys later. Bye.